Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Well, I have an article here coming from Ukraine, and we have the Prime Minister that we don't hear from, the Ukraine's Prime Minister. I was about to say Ukrainian Prime Minister, I caught myself, Denis Shmyhal, and he will make a statement that kind of contradicts what they, the Ukrainian side, told us for the past, I don't know, maybe 7 months or so, which is the Russians are idiots and they don't know where to, send their presents, which is missiles or rockets or anything like that, which makes them have an accuracy rate of 20% or something. So this article comes from the New Voice of Ukraine. It's from December 11th, 2022. And this is the title. All Ukrainian thermal and hydropower plants damaged, says Prime Minister. All of them. After 8 waves of missile attacks, all thermal and hydroelectric power plants in Ukraine have been damaged, Prime Minister Denis Shmyhal reported on Facebook on December 11th. There remains a significant capacity deficit in Ukraine's energy system, he noted. 40% of the country's entire high-voltage network has been damaged to various degrees. And I'm quoting, "Each of us should realize that there will be significant restrictions on electricity consumption as we go through this winter," Shmyhal said. Well, I'm pretty sure you're not going to have any problems. He added that the government instructed the Ministry of Energy to define and submit for consideration clear priorities for the restoration of power, naming a number of critical facilities that should be secured first. 1. The first priority is critical infrastructure and hospital. Good. 2. The second priority is enterprises and facilities of the military-industrial complex. 3. The third priority are businesses that manufacture goods and products of critical importance for the country. And 4th, the fourth priority is the housing sector. Okay. Well, let's see. That's very nice, but let me say this. This is the same thing. I mean, it's all fine. It's good. I'm not trying to criticize. I would just put it in a different how should I put it, order. And I would start to a certain extent with people first, which people live in houses. Why? Because everything else that they mention here, number 1, number 2, number 3, are contingent on the fourth one, which is the people. So without people, you don't have hospitals, because you don't have, staff to work, and you don't have patients. So you need, first you need to have, people. The second one, the facilities of military industrial complex. Again, without people, they will be empty and no value. And where do you get the people? From houses, right? From something like that. The third are the businesses that manufacture goods. Who manufacture goods? People. So, it's the same thing as we are always instructed when we go to fly a commercial plane. The stewardess or the flight attendant, however, she comes and explains to you if the cabin becomes depressurized, you should put your masks first, like so, and then attend other people around you. Don't do it before. Don't try to help people before you help yourself. Why? Because if you try to do that and you perish in the meantime, you die, and there's nobody else to help the children, for instance. So the same here. Yeah, you can have all those facilities working with lights, electricity, as I said. You can have everything function, but no people. Why? because the people died of exposure at home. Anyway, that's good. My issue with this is the Russians were so good and so calculated that they damaged all hydroelectric and the other one was what? Coal or something? Hydroelectric and thermal power plants, all of them. Well, I personally have no doubts believing this. The problem is I have doubts believing them saying that the Russians have 20% accuracy rating. That's what I have a problem with. And we'll see how many people, when, at what point, or after what point will they decide to talk with the guys to stop. Remember the war in Yugoslavia? That was the whole thing then. We're gonna blow your whatever you got, bombard you until you submit. That was the whole purpose in Yugoslavia. We're gonna continue bombing your infrastructure, and they argued about that the infrastructure supports the war effort, so therefore it's legitimate. That's what they said then. And this is what the Russians claim now. They said, well, we don't do anything worse than they did in Yugoslavia, so how dare they? Well, we know how they dare, because they don't, you have to have self-awareness, and it's not something that occurs in the real world much. So I wonder when the handlers of Ukraine will decide that enough is enough. These guys are just, too many people perish, let's put it this way. When are they going to say, yeah, you know what, maybe we should talk to the Russians, because I don't know, let's say 5 million die already of exposure to elements and all that. No water, no electricity, no heat. Because if you don't do that, and you could stop that, that would make you responsible. You can say, okay, the Russians do this, but I have the power to stop that. If I talk with those guys, they will stop doing that. And I can, as bad as they are, but that would make me an accomplice for not, how should I put it, stopping the slaughter, the exposure. I'm not trying to make, the leadership of Ukraine or the handlers of Ukrainian nation sole responsible for all this, but I think they have a lot of, unless they don't listen to their masters over the Atlantic, they have a lot of leverage to stop this. So they can keep going, and then you're going to have a lot of people dying, and they just recognize the Holodomor, the 1932, 1933 genocide of not only Ukrainian people, because they tend to forget that there were other nationalities that were starved to death, not only the Ukrainians, but the Ukrainians definitely were starved to death by the Stalin communist regime, the Georgian Stalin, man, you know what I mean, and the Soviets. And these guys will be probably responsible for not stopping this. Sometimes you have to pick out of, this is bad, but this is worse, one of them. And I think is worse to continue under what's going on over there right now. But hey, I'm not in charge. I'm just giving an opinion here on what I would do if I were the other guys. I would stop and discuss with the Russians what we can do. Stop the attack on this infrastructure. Stop being like NATO. Come on, man. Yeah, you don't like that? Me neither. But you see, two wrongs don't make a right. The problem is you have weasels who immediately point to you that you're a criminal, but they have bigger crimes and they committed that on numerous occasions before you did. So then it makes you feel like, what are you talking about? You tell me? Anyway. So it's like, anyway, that's enough with examples here, or at least analogies. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.